Throughout our relationship, Chloe always said that a woman who gives herself away too easily will never be cherished. She called herself old-fashioned, insisting on saving her first time, that precious, once-in-a-lifetime moment, for our wedding night. But on that night, my new wife told me she needed to sleep with her first love first. She had to give the virginity she'd treasured for years to him. That's when I finally understood. All her talk about being traditional, about saving herself, it was just a game to play a fool like me. She wasn't saving herself for marriage. She was saving herself for him, the one that got away. Later, when I walked down the aisle with Chloe's biggest rival, she was the one crying, begging me to come back. Move it. Leo Sterling stood in front of our honeymoon suite, his face a mask of contempt. I acted like I hadn't heard him, planting my feet firmly in the doorway, blocking his path. Do you really think you're the groom tonight? He sneered, snatching the boutonniere from my lapel. He threw it on the floor and ground it into the carpet with the heel of his shoe. Take a look in the mirror. What could Chloe Vance possibly see in you? He leaned in, his voice dropping to a vicious whisper. The only reason she'd ever marry you is because you look like me. She's in love with me. You're just a cheap knockoff. Before I could answer, the door behind me opened. Chloe stood there, radiant in her wedding dress. She gave Leo a shy nod, then turned her expectant eyes to me. Ethan, she began, her voice soft. I made a promise to myself. No matter who I married, my first time, in this dress, would be for him. You'll help me keep my promise, won't you? I couldn't process it. Your first time? I asked, my voice hollow. Are we talking about what I think we're talking about? You mean on my wedding night, in our hotel suite, you want this man to sleep with my new bride in our bed? The words felt like shards of glass in my mouth. We're married, Chloe. Did you even consider how I would feel when you say something like this? It's just one time. What's the big deal? She asked, her eyes searching mine. Don't you love me anymore? Just one time. The room started to spin. This was the most absurd, twisted thing I had ever heard. I loved this woman with everything I had, looked forward to building a life with her, and this was her wedding gift to me. This isn't about love, Chloe. It's about respect. It's about loyalty. My voice cracked, rising with an anger I couldn't control. If you really respected me, you'd let me do this one thing with Leo. I took a deep, shaky breath, fighting back a wave of nausea. The old me, the Ethan who would do anything for her, would have caved. But not anymore. Not after this. You call this respect? I shouted, the words tearing out of my raw throat. Watching you give your first time to another man? Chloe, I'm your husband. That's supposed to be for me. From inside the room, Leo's voice, feigning concern, drifted out. Maybe we should just forget it, Chloe. You're his wife now. Chloe ignored me completely, her voice turning into a desperate plea aimed at him. No, don't leave me, Leo. I'm coming, just wait. She didn't even notice the rage on my face. In her world, my feelings were an afterthought, something I'd eventually apologize for. She shot me a venomous glare, annoyed that I was wasting her time. Get out, she spat, slapping me hard across the face before scrambling past me into the room. The sharp, tearing sound of fabric was followed by Chloe's shy gasp. The dress I designed for her, the dress I was supposed to take off her, had just been ripped away by another man. The intricate hand-sewn pearls on the bodice, which I'd spent weeks working on just to make her happy, just to add a little something special to our night. All of it was for someone else's pleasure. On the wall hung a giant, framed photo from our engagement shoot. It was a monument to our hypocrisy, mocking me. I ripped it off the wall and tore the picture in two, letting the pieces flutter to the floor. The marriage license can be yours, I muttered to the empty hallway. I don't want it. Inside, I heard Chloe frantically opening and closing drawers. It's okay, Leo said soothingly. If you get pregnant, you'll have a baby. I'd never resent my own child. Hearing him talk about their baby, she wrapped her arms around him. It hurts so much to give birth, you know. I only want to do it for you. If it wasn't for Ethan pursuing me back then, we never would have broken up over that stupid misunderstanding. Her voice was full of affection. Don't worry, Leo. Ethan is crazy about me. When our baby is born, I'll make that cuckold raise it for us. Their laughter and playful shrieks echoed from the room. A wave of disgust washed over me as I heard her soft moans of pleasure. I smashed the framed photo on the nightstand, the glass shattering like my heart. The sound from upstairs were brazen, unapologetic. I sat on the living room sofa and smoked the longest cigarette of my life. It wasn't like I didn't know she didn't love me. I knew Leo was her first love, the one she never got over. I'd lost count of the times she'd ditched me mid-sentence for one of his texts, or bolted from a date because of his call. Even Valentine's Day, our Valentine's Day, was spent with him. I was the third wheel in my own relationship, hiding in the shadows, watching them go on dates, shop, and eat from the same plate. I swallowed it all. I told myself that to keep her, I had to be humble to be less. But I never imagined this. The next morning, I was downstairs packing my suitcase when Chloe came down, the tattered remains of her wedding dress barely covering her. She walked with a strange, wide-legged gait. "Ethan, I'm so sore. Can we postpone the honeymoon for a few days?" I didn't look up. "We're not going." She froze. "What did you say?" I zipped the suitcase and finally met her gaze. "Chloe, we're done." My Uber arrived. I grabbed my bag and walked out, not wanting to spend another second in that house. "Ethan, what is this tantrum?" "Get back here," she yelled after me. "Ethan, you'll regret this." I didn't look back. I went straight to the train station, changed my ticket, and headed home. After packing the rest of my things, I quit my job. I couldn't stay in New York anymore. I was an orphan, no parents, and now no Chloe. There was nothing left for me here. My savings were enough to live comfortably for a while. It was time for a fresh start somewhere new. From the street below, I looked up at the window of our old apartment at the red curtains we'd picked out together. I wasn't over it, not even close, but I felt a sense of calm. I booked an Amtrak ticket to Miami. I needed to clear my head. On the train, a young couple sat next to me. The girl was nestled against the boy, the picture of contentment. It reminded me of Chloe. On a trip we took once, she had leaned against me just like that. "Ethan, do you know how amazing you are?" she'd whispered. "You're so good to me. I want to be with you forever and ever." On that trip, we'd forgotten to book a hotel, and the only thing left was a single king room. When I tried to take things further, she stopped me, telling me with the utmost seriousness that she was a traditional girl. No sex before marriage. Back then, I cherished that about her. She seemed so pure, so unspoiled. "Ethan, I'm just old-fashioned," she'd said. "I want to save our first time for after we get married. Is that okay?" I believed her. Like a fool, I waited. I just wanted a family, a home. But she wasn't saving herself for me. She was saving herself for another man. That night, she'd cried in my arms, making me swear I wouldn't touch her again until we were married. I loved her so much, I agreed without a second thought. "You're so good to me, Ethan, but I'm scared." I kissed her tears away and held her all night, telling her it was okay. Who knew? Her old-fashioned values were reserved for someone else. The train pulled into Miami late at night. I found a nearby bar and proceeded to get drunk. The lights were dim, the music loud. I sat alone in a corner booth, a ghost in a sea of laughing, dancing people. Then she walked in, a stunning figure in a white dress. She instantly drew the gaze of every man in the room. Her. A flicker of disbelief crossed my mind. I recognized that face immediately. It was none other than Chloe's arch-nemesis, Sophia Reed. Sophia and Chloe were both dance majors at NYU, the two reigning queens of the campus. They were the best dancers in the company and fought tooth and nail for every lead role. To make matters worse, while Chloe was chasing Leo, Leo was busy chasing Sophia. Sophia wanted nothing to do with him, so he eventually settled for Chloe as a consolation prize. Their rivalry was legendary. Fueled by tequila, I found myself studying her. She was genuinely beautiful, with an effortless grace that was captivating. An image popped into my head, a classic Southern belle, sipping sweet tea on a veranda, her smile outshining a garden of magnolias. Beautiful. As I was lost in thought, she noticed me in the corner. Her eyes widened in recognition. "Ethan," she said, approaching my table. "What are you doing here? Is Chloe with you?" She sat down across from me, and a wave of perfume, something sweet and alluring, washed over me, making my heart beat a little faster. "What are you doing here?" I asked, genuinely curious. Sophia smiled. "What? Am I not allowed?" I immediately realized how that sounded. "Sorry, that's not what I meant. She laughed, cutting me off. "Relax, I know what you mean. You think everyone's as lucky as your Chloe, landing a great guy like you." She paused, a playful glint in her eye. "You still haven't said where she is. Don't tell me you two had another fight." I managed a bitter smile. "Not a fight, no. We broke up." "Oh, please. I thought you two were fighting again." Her voice trailed off as my words registered. Her eyes went wide. "Wait, what did you just say? You broke up?" I nodded slowly. "No way. You really broke up? Who dumped who?" Sophia leaned forward, her face a mask of gossip-hungry curiosity. So, I told her everything. The whole sordid story from the night before. When I finished, she didn't say a word. She just got up and walked to the bar. She returned with a bottle of tequila and 2 shot glasses. She poured a shot and slid it toward me. I looked at her, confused. She rolled her eyes. "What? You think I'm going to drug you?" "No, it's just, you're Chloe's rival." I mumbled. It was weird. Incredibly weird. Logically, she should be avoiding me like the plague. Instead, she was buying me drinks. And more than that, there was a constant, subtle smile playing on her lips, as if my breakup with Chloe was the best news she'd heard all year. If you're not scared, then drink up. I know why you're here, she said, pressing the glass into my hand. She raised hers and clinked it against mine. The tequila burned its way down my throat. We both winced at the same time, then looked at each other and smiled. Just like that, the distance between us seemed to shrink. They say it's not the alcohol that gets you drunk, it's the feelings. They're not wrong. My tolerance isn't great, but it isn't terrible either. Normally, I could handle my liquor. But tonight, after just 2 shots, my head was spinning. Sophia wasn't doing much better. A lovely flush had spread across her cheeks, making her look even more captivating. Her slender fingers reached out and gently pinched my cheek, a mischievous smile in her eyes. It must have been the alcohol. I caught her wrist as she pulled away, my gaze locking with hers. Sophia, I said, my voice low, want to come back to my place for a drink. Our eyes met, and I saw a flicker of surprise in hers. For a modern adult, the invitation was anything but subtle. This was Sophia Reed, the goddess of NYU, the girl every guy dreamed of. What were the chances she'd say yes? I had to be insane. I was about to apologize when she bit her lower lip and whispered a single word. Okay. On the way back to my hotel, the faint, sweet scent of her perfume made my head swim again. I guess that's what they mean about feelings getting you drunk. I took charge, slinging an arm around her shoulder. She tensed for a second, then melted against me. Once we were inside my room, the last shred of my sanity kicked in, and I let her go. Sophia, it's getting pretty late. My words were smothered by her kiss. It was soft and sweet. Ethan, I'm already here, she murmured, her arms wrapping around my neck as she pressed her body against mine. My hands found her waist, holding her steady, my fingers digging in just a little. Is this okay? I whispered against her lips. She nodded shyly, and I swept her into my arms, carrying her to the bed. Afterward, Sophia went to take a shower. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the small, crimson stain on the white sheets, feeling completely lost. It was so bright, so jarring it made my eyes ache. Sophia emerged, wrapped in a towel, and sat down quietly beside me. I looked up at her. She was smiling, her eyes full of an emotion I couldn't quite name, but that felt warm and real. Sophia, I'm sorry, I said, running a hand through my hair, hating myself for tarnishing something so pure. Ethan, I don't regret it, she said, her eyes shining so brightly they made me dizzy. I finally feel complete. Truly, she snuggled into my side, and I wrapped an arm around her. Thank you, she whispered, for making me so happy. My mind was a complete mess. Even though Chloe had kept me at arm's length, I had never once been unfaithful to her. Yet, the moment we broke up, I had somehow ended up in bed with Sophia. No words could describe the tangled mess of my emotions. Sophia was beautiful. Any man would kill to be with her. But all I felt was a crippling awkwardness, especially with her gazing at me like that. My toes curled in embarrassment. I tried to explain myself, to say something, but the words wouldn't come. What could I even say? That I was drunk? That would just make me sound like a scumbag. I couldn't even remember how I'd gotten back to the hotel, let alone explain what happened. Sophia, about last night. I started, forcing a smile to hide my discomfort. Her expression was calm. Are you trying to say it didn't count? That one sentence sent a jolt of panic through me. No, that's not what I mean. It's just we really. My words died in my throat as my eyes fell back to the bed. The evidence was irrefutable. This was bad. A wave of regret washed over me. If I had known this would happen, I never would have drunk so much. Her cheeks instantly flushed a deep red. I made breakfast. You should go get washed up. With that, she hurried out of the bedroom. I sat there, stunned, a strange feeling blooming in my chest. In all our years together, Chloe had almost never set foot in the kitchen. Breakfast, dinner was always on me, but she would happily cook a 4-course meal for Leo. Sophia's simple offer made my nose sting. It wasn't that I wasn't good enough. It was that Chloe wasn't good enough for me. Men need to be loved, too. Breakfast wasn't extravagant, just some scrambled eggs and a bowl of oatmeal. But to me, it felt warmer than any fancy meal. To be honest, I'm an easy man to please. If Chloe had shown me even a fraction of the care Sophia was showing me now, maybe we wouldn't have ended up here. There was nothing in your fridge, so this was the best I could do, Sophia said, handing me a peeled hard-boiled egg. I was floored. This was a kind of tenderness I had never experienced. In my time with Chloe, besides being the breadwinner, I was also the maid, the laundromat, and the chef. She never lifted a finger. For years, I had been the only one holding our world together. Chloe never gave me warmth or comfort, only an endless well of grievances. They say comparison is the thief of joy, but right now, it was a revelation. Compared to the gentle Sophia, Chloe was a catastrophically unqualified partner. Sophia, on the other hand, seemed born for it. I ate my oatmeal, occasionally glancing up at her. The only sound was the clinking of our spoons. The hangover had killed my appetite, but the warm oatmeal was the perfect remedy. It was just a simple bowl of oatmeal, but it tasted better than anything I'd had in years. I finished 2 bowls. Slow down. There's more in the kitchen. I'll get you another, Sophia offered, but I stopped her. I'm full, I said with a smile. She didn't press, simply gathering the dishes with a quiet efficiency. Watching her move around the kitchen, I felt something I hadn't felt before. This was the life I had always wanted. A partnership, coming home to each other after a long day. Sharing meals, sharing seasons. I just didn't know if Sophia wanted that too. She sat back down at the table, and we looked at each other in silence. I was the one to break it. Last night, Sophia cut straight to the point. I'll give you 2 options. 1, let me be with you. I don't have any other demands, as long as you cut ties with Chloe for good. And you can rest assured, I will never betray you. If it doesn't work out between us, I'll be the one to end it. Her directness left me speechless. And the second option? Her gaze was intense. The second option is we pretend nothing happened. I'll disappear from your life forever. I fell into a deep thought. My gut instinct screamed for the first option. I was drawn to Sophia's beauty and her gentleness, things I had never gotten from Chloe. But I've been burned before. The scars Chloe left made me worry that Sophia might hurt me in the same way. As if reading my mind, Sophia smiled. Are you worried I'll be like Chloe and deceive you? I nodded silently. You don't have to be, she said. I can promise you, as long as I'm with you, I will only love you. That's the most I can offer. She paused, her smile unwavering. You might think I'm cheap or forward, but I don't think I've done anything wrong. Happiness is something you have to fight for. Sophia was different. Other women might hint at what they want, making you guess. Sophia told you straight up. And in that moment, I understood. People are different. You can't let one person's betrayal convince you that the whole world is worthless. Chloe might have betrayed me, but that didn't mean Sophia would. To put it plainly, I was captivated by Sophia's beauty. It was that simple. I was the one overcomplicating it. I choose the first option, I said, my voice firm. A brilliant smile spread across Sophia's face. I knew you wouldn't let me down. She continued, her voice full of confidence. To me, you're a treasure. If Chloe didn't know how to cherish you, that's her loss. But I won't make that mistake. When someone finds a treasure, they don't give it back. Hearing her words, I smiled. It was the first real compliment I had received in years. So, I wasn't the worthless person Chloe made me out to be. It was like they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. In Chloe's eyes, I was a pale imitation of Leo. But in Sophia's eyes, I was a once-in-a-lifetime man. Sophia winked at me. Then it settled. We can let the feelings grow over time. You'll see just how good I can be for you. Her smile turned mischievous. You lost Chloe, but you gained me. Anything she could give you, I can give you. And the things she couldn't, I can give you those too. The message was crystal clear. If I didn't understand what she meant by now, I was a lost cause. In one smooth motion, I stood up, swept her into my arms, and strode toward the bedroom. Soon, the room was filled with the sound of her sweet voice. The battle had just ended when a friend request popped up on my phone. It was from Leo. Curious, I accepted. A moment later, a photo appeared. It was him and Chloe in the shower, water sluicing over their naked bodies. Beneath it, a message. I asked Chloe who she likes more. She said she'd rather die in my arms. Even knowing what she'd done, seeing that picture felt like a bomb going off in my head. I stared at the screen, my mind a complete blank. After a minute, I took a screenshot of the entire conversation and blasted it to every mutual friend we had and posted it to my Instagram story. It was dinner time, and Sophia knew a fantastic Korean barbecue place. I'm a sucker for good food, so I didn't hesitate. The restaurant was packed. While we were waiting for a table, my phone buzzed with notifications from our old group chat. Chloe couldn't stand to see Leo getting dragged. She posted that she was the one who forced him, that she sent a message from his phone. She claimed she was truly in love with Leo and had only married me under duress, hoping to force me into a divorce. After posting in the group and on her own social media, she called me. How dare you say that about Leo? Do you have any idea he almost had a panic attack because of you? Apologize to him. Right now. Her voice was shrill. We're supposed to be signing the marriage license next week. If you don't apologize, I'm not showing up. Think about it. She sounded so wronged, so self-righteous. Even now, she refused to admit fault. But I was done caring. We already broke up, I said, my voice flat. What marriage license? There was a stunned silence. Then her voice twisted into a screech. Are you serious? You're breaking up with me? Of course. I hung up before she could say another word. I glanced at the group chat. The messages were flooding in. I knew it. No way Chloe would ever be into an orphan. Leo was just out of the country. Gave this guy a chance to sneak in. Some guys think a pretty face makes them a prince. Think everyone has to worship them. Chloe's friends were tearing me apart. I saw comments from our mutuals, especially from the bridesmaids whose flights and hotels I had paid for. Just yesterday, they were at the wedding, showering us with blessings. Today, they were in Leo's comments, cheering for true love. Birds of feather. I was about to type a reply when Sophia's name popped up, and she went nuclear. Is Chloe your mother? Is Leo your father? Why are you all defending them like this? Did you all eat crap for breakfast? Your words stink. Are you all bastards? Is that why you support cheating? A bunch of morons. As the admin of the dance alumni group chat, she typed her tirade and then immediately deleted the entire group. After her rampage, she saw me looking at her. She froze, her expression turning sheepish. I'm not normally this crude, she said, her voice small. Please don't think less of me. I laughed. You were defending me. Why would I think less of you? I know my friends are. The Korean barbecue was, in fact, amazing. The only odd thing was Sophia, who barely touched her food, instead delicately licking an ice cream cone. Her eyes, when she looked up at me, far from innocent. Back at the hotel, she started by snuggling against me on the sofa, then her arms were around my neck, her whole body practically draped over mine. All those years with Chloe, she'd acted like a saint, untouchable. But with Leo, she was a different person entirely. As a result, I had remained celibate for years. It was only now that I was finally learning what it felt like to be wanted. It was incredible, but damn, it was exhausting. At the beginning, she was all shy hesitation. By the end, well, in 1 week with Sophia, we were intimate more times than I had held Chloe's hand in 5 years. Thank God, I was an orphan with no family to embarrass myself in front of, because the pet name Sophia had me calling her were creative. The living room couch, the rug, the shower, the dining table, the balcony, the bedroom. Every surface became a stage for her affection. It got to the point where I couldn't do a video interview anywhere in my own apartment without feeling self-conscious. Back when Chloe's family business was on the verge of bankruptcy, Leo had vanished faster than a startled rabbit. He even took off with the last of her luxury handbags, sending her a text afterward. Glad we never got that license, otherwise I'd be on the hook for your family's debt. Let's just call it even. Don't bother looking for me. Consider your stuff payment for my wasted youth. Then he blocked her on everything. Chloe was completely shattered. The pampered princess fell from grace overnight. I found her in a bar, drunk, surrounded by a group of sleazy guys. This was the girl I'd had a crush on since college. How could I do nothing? I abandoned my own startup plans and used my life savings to help Vance Corp get back on its feet. During those hardest years, I joined the company. I stayed up with Chloe writing business proposals until we were delirious from exhaustion. She was a clueless princess, and I was the one who helped her earn respect from her team. I was the one who took the endless client dinners, drinking until I ended up in the ER, shielding her from the worst of it. We went through hell together, and we grew closer. She would look at me with a shy smile, her eyes full of stars. 3 years ago, we landed a massive contract that finally pulled Vance Corp out of the red. It felt natural when we started dating after that. For 5 years, I worked for her company without a proper contract to save the money. So even though my title was vice president, I was living on a salary of a few thousand a month. My world revolved around her. All she had to do was ask, and I would have walked through fire. But the moment Leo came back to the States, she made me Leo's subordinate, tasking me with getting him up to speed on the business. She gave Leo my job and a 7-figure salary. On my way to my new, lesser office, Chloe called. Her voice was thick with emotion. Where did you go? Why won't you tell me? She sniffled. I admit I shouldn't have treated you that way before. But was it right for you to be so cruel and break up with me? Her tears surprised me. Before I left, she hadn't treated me like a human being. Now she was accusing me of being heartless. Chloe, let's not drag this out. No man would tolerate his girlfriend physically cheating on him. You cross a line. So that's it. You just think I'm dirty now? She shot back, her voice rising. But do you know what I did? I waited for you at the city clerk's office all day. It was even raining. How can you do this to me? Does her conscience not hurt? Is this the love you always talked about? Her excuses were so twisted they made my head spin. I had no patience left. Yes, I said. Chloe paused. What? I think you're dirty, I said, my voice devoid of emotion. I don't want to marry you. Are you satisfied? If you hadn't been so relentless, maybe we could have parted on good terms. But you don't deserve that. She let out a short, sharp laugh. Oh, Ethan, stop acting. You love me too much to ever leave me. You're just angry with me, aren't you? Her tone softened, turning into a manipulative pout. Ethan, I'll still marry you. But you have to agree to come back and be Leo's deputy. He's still not familiar with the company. Oh, and one last thing. We can't have a physical relationship. I'm more traditional. I gave my first time to Leo, and I can't be with anyone else now. I hope you can understand. I promised him I would only be his. He doesn't like other people touching me. So after we're married, you should probably go abroad and get chemically castrated, just to avoid any temptations with other women, and you'll sleep in the guest room. The master bedroom is for me and Leo. I scoffed, cutting her off. Chloe, you really are something else. What are you talking about? She asked, feigning innocence. You've got a lot of nerve. What makes you think I would ever agree to that? Do you really think I can't live without you? She chuckled, her confidence returning. So what if I do? I'm only offering this once. If you refuse, don't ever come crawling back to me. I almost laughed out loud. This woman was truly delusional. Did she really think I was that pathetic, that much of a doormat? Unless I had a complete psychotic break, there was no way I'd agree to be a lifelong eunuch, probably tasked with fluffing their pillows. You're insane, I spat and hung up. I let out a humorless laugh, put my phone away, and headed to my new job. Chloe had given the huge contract I secured to Leo and demanded I brief him on all the client preferences so he could take over seamlessly. Why should I hand over years of my hard work to someone else for free? The contract wasn't signed yet, so I simply persuaded the client to work with my new company instead. Then I notified my other long-term clients that I had moved and could offer them better rates. My new company was thrilled that I'd brought a major account with me on day one. The director of sales met me personally, his eyes crinkling into a smile. Mr. Cole, you're finally here. The CEO is waiting for you in her office. She's very excited to have you on board. He led me to the CEO's office and left. I knocked, mentally rehearsing my introduction. The moment I stepped inside, someone grabbed me and slammed me against the wall. A hand covered my mouth just as a curse was about to fly out. My whole body went rigid. Hey, it's me, a familiar voice whispered. It was Sophia. She stood on her toes, kissing me deeply as her hand slid up under my shirt. I grabbed her wrist, shocked. What are you doing here? This is my family's company, she said breathlessly. The door isn't locked, I hissed. Someone could walk in. I tried to stop her, but she just looked up at me, her lips glistening, my reflection captured in her eyes, as if I were her entire world. It's fine. I told everyone not to disturb us. The way she said disturb us left little to the imagination. How was I ever going to face my new colleagues? It was that day I learned that a CEO's desk is very large and very hard, and the carpet is very soft. I also learned that the mirror in the private bathroom is impeccably clean, and the custom-built wooden bed in the adjoining lounge, while expensive, is not particularly sturdy. Sophia pushed me onto it. Over the next month, the sales department at Reed Industries flourished. I reconnected with my old clients, and in less than 4 weeks, I had poached nearly half of Vance Corp as trade orders, with the other half in negotiation. Meanwhile, Vance Corp was in chaos. The mass exodus of my team had caught them completely off guard. Their revenue plummeted and showed no signs of recovering. Under Leo's clueless and chaotic leadership, the talented people I had trained began resigning one by one. Of course, I hired most of them for Reed Industries, which made Sophia ecstatic. She called me her good luck charm. After I closed several major deals, even the skeptical board members at Reed had to admit I knew what I was doing, finally silencing the rumors that I was just a pretty face who had slept his way to the top. Vance Corp descended further into turmoil. After 3 years of consistent profits, the company ended the quarter with a 7-figure loss. The biggest loser was Leo. He was left with an empty office, a mess of unfinished business, and the new title of General of the Ghost Army. In that same month, Reed Industries' revenue quadrupled, posting numbers that made the rest of the industry green with envy. To reward me, Sophia organized a team-building trip to Europe. While waiting at the airport, I got another call from Chloe. Her voice was dripping with sarcasm. Learned your lesson yet? Well, I'll tell you something, it's too late. I've decided to go on a global honeymoon with Leo. I'm certainly not going on one with you. I never said I wanted to go with you, I replied calmly. Chloe gritted her teeth. Then what are you doing at the airport? Don't tell me you're here to apologize for the other day. Fine, since you're showing some remorse, we can talk about the marriage license when Leo and I get back. I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. I'm not getting a license with you, Chloe. When we were together, Chloe had insisted we use a location sharing app to keep tabs on each other. Her call reminded me it was still active. I immediately disabled it. It wasn't until I arrived at our team-building destination that I realized it was just the two of us. This is one team-building exercise, I said, my voice thick, that I'll never forget. Watching Sophia in her bikini, with her stunning curves, I couldn't help but swallow hard. And just like that, our welcome meeting moved to a few different locations. the sofa, the balcony, the shower, the vanity. Sometimes, the threads of fate weave the most incredible patterns. While Chloe and Leo were kissing under the brilliant Aurora Borealis in Canada, Sophia and I were on a quiet, snowy plain in Sweden, our own lips meeting under the same celestial light show, the world silent around us. While they were laughing on roller coasters at Disneyland in California, lost in a world of fantasy, Sophia and I were exploring Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen, the world's first amusement park, every corner steeped in history and innocent joy. And when Chloe and Leo were basking on the golden beaches of Hawaii, Sophia and I were on the coast of the Aegean Sea, the waves lapping at our feet as we kissed, the setting sun painting our silhouettes against the sand. Every near miss felt like a deliberate act of destiny, allowing us to experience the magic of love in our own way, in our own corners of the world. I never expected to run into them at the airport. It had suddenly occurred to me that I had paid for the condo we were supposed to live in, and I wanted it back. Sophia insisted on coming with me, so we flew back to New York together. And there was Chloe. The moment she saw us, she stormed over and ripped Sophia's hand from my arm. "Ethan, you broke up with me for this little tramp?" Her voice was a ragged whisper. "Don't you know she's my rival? Even if you wanted to make me angry, you didn't have to stoop to her level." I frowned, surprised at the venom in her words. But since we were caught, there was no point in hiding it. "This is my fiancée, Sophia." Chloe's face turned ashen. "Fiancé? Ethan, you have no shame. Does she know you're married?" I nodded. "Yeah. She also knows I was cheated on." My bluntness stunned her into silence. After a long moment, she spoke again, her voice strained. "Ow, how far have you two gone?" It took every ounce of her strength to ask. My reply was casual. "As far as you and Leo have gone." The color drained from her face, then flooded back in a furious blush. Her grip on my arm tightened, her long nails digging into my skin. Sophia flinched and hid behind me, her hand clutching the back of my shirt. I gave her a reassuring smile, but that small gesture seemed to enrage Chloe. She let go of me and lunged at Sophia, her hands like claws. She had lost all control. I stepped in front of Sophia, grabbing Chloe's wrists. "You're protecting her? Ethan, you're actually protecting her." Chloe stared at me. Disbelief etched on her face as huge tears rolled down her cheeks. "Ethan, you bastard, don't you forget. I'm your wife." A cold fury rose in me. The audacity, on our wedding night. She brazenly slept with another man in our home, and she still had the gall to call herself my wife. I looked at her, my expression flat, my stomach churning with disgust. On our wedding night, the man you shared your bed with was Leo. On your honeymoon, the man you were with was him. Chloe, do we have a marriage license? Have we ever even been husband and wife? What right do you have to say you're my wife? My words hung in the air. She stood frozen, speechless. Finally, she lunged forward again, grabbing my hand. "Let's go. We'll go get the license right now." I shook her off, disgusted. "Are you insane? Why won't you just leave me alone? Have you forgotten how you've treated me all these years? Or do you really think I can't live without you?" Her own anger flared. "Yes, so what if I do? I'm telling you, Ethan, you're not going anywhere but by my side. You're nothing but my dog, and I'll always be your master." My contempt for this woman was absolute. I turned to walk away, but she grabbed me again. "Don't you love me anymore? Go find your Leo." At the mention of his name, her arrogance returned. "I knew it. You're jealous. You're still upset about the wedding night. You do love me." I pulled my hand away, looking at this self-absorbed, delusional woman, and the last of my restraint snapped. "Love you? Love what? Love how you dropped me for Leo every single time? Or love how you slept with him on our wedding night?" I was done talking. I turned to leave. "Ethan," she screamed at my back. I turned around. Her anger was gone, replaced by a sudden cascade of tears. I looked at her, not bothering to hide the sarcasm on my face. "I don't know what your definition of love is," I said calmly, "but I have a question for you. What man would fall in love with a woman who sleeps with someone else on their wedding night, right in front of him?" I glanced from her to Sophia. "Chloe, Sophia is my fiancée now. Don't contact me again. I don't want her to get the wrong idea." At that, Chloe completely lost it. "No, I forbid it." The mask was off. "Who the hell is Sophia Reed? I forbid you from being with her." She was screaming now, a raving lunatic. Sophia stepped forward, meeting her gaze. "I love him more than you do," she said, her voice steady. "I won't hurt him. I can give him all of my heart, always." Chloe fell silent, then started to laugh, a chilling, unhinged sound. "You think Ethan could ever love you? Oh, Sophia, save it. He will always love me. Only me. This man was with me for 5 years. 5 years, you understand? Every single day, for 5 years, he wanted to sleep with me. The man you're treating like a treasure is just someone I threw away. Ha ha ha. She was manic, spewing whatever venom came to mind. A knot of panic formed in my stomach. I was afraid Sophia would be hurt, afraid she would leave me. Sophia, listen to me. Sophia gave me a small smile, then turned back to Chloe. Then thank you. Chloe's laughter stopped abruptly. She stared, confused. Thank you for giving such a wonderful man to me, Sophia continued, her voice clear and strong. I will cherish him, and from now on, every night, he'll only want to sleep with me. As Chloe's curses faded behind us, Sophia linked her arm through mine, and we walked away. Sophia, don't listen to what she said. She's crazy. She's not well, I explained frantically. She pinched my arm gently. Every night. I grinned sheepishly. Well, that was before. And besides, I never touched her. Sophia, pinch me again, harder this time. Home. Now. Home. For what? To go home and make up for every single night you missed. It was getting late, so Sophia and I didn't go back to my old condo. Instead, we booked a suite at a hotel downtown. We were in the middle of reacquainting ourselves when my phone rang. It was Leo. His voice was strained, on the verge of hysteria. Sophia's with you? Ethan, how could you? You piece of... He descended into a string of frantic curses, sounding nothing like the composed man I knew. I frowned and hung up. I had nothing to say to him when he was sane, and even less now. I did wonder, though, how he found out Sophia and I were together. Did Chloe tell him? A thought struck me. Sophia, can I see your phone? She paused for a second, then handed it over without hesitation. The passcode is your birthday, she said, then giggled, as if proud that her boyfriend was checking up on her. Her laugh was infectious, and I smiled back. Chloe had never let me look at her phone. If a message came in, she'd turn her back to reply, claiming it was about mutual respect. I was a fool to believe her. I pushed the thought away. I opened Sophia's phone and went straight to her Instagram. The screen was filled with a long scroll of photos of us. She had documented nearly every moment of our trip, each picture paired with a caption so sweet it could give you a cavity. She had taken showing off to a whole new level. Mystery solved. I handed the phone back. I didn't mention Leo's call. It was a minor annoyance, no need to drag her into it. But I had underestimated Leo's obsession. He called again, and again, and again. I kept declining the calls, but it eventually caught Sophia's attention. She tapped the screen. Who is it? Can I know? Leo, I said. Her expression hardened. Let me take it, she said, her voice serious. I handed her the phone. The moment the call connected, Leo's enraged voice filled the air. Ethan, I'm warning you. Break up with Sophia right now. Or else. Or else what? Sophia's voice was ice. It was a tone I'd never heard from her before. Leo, I'm the one who should be warning you. Stay away from me and Ethan. Leo had been obsessed with Sophia for years. He was stringing Chloe along while relentlessly pursuing Sophia. She never liked him and eventually blocked him just to get him to stop. His voice cracked. Sophia, please don't be with him. I have depression. I'll kill myself. Sophia was unmoved. Your suicide has nothing to do with me. If you're going to die, die somewhere far away. She hung up. Her voice immediately returned to its usual soft, sweet tone. Let's block him. Okay, I agreed. A few minutes later, as we were getting back to our deep conversation, my phone rang again. It was Chloe, calling relentlessly. I was about to decline, but Sophia snatched the phone and answered. Chloe sounded drunk, her words slurring. Ethan, I miss you so much. I was so stupid before. I didn't appreciate you. I feel awful, like my heart is dying. I felt a wave of nausea. Sophia chuckled coldly. You just don't give up, do you? Chloe's voice turned sharp, like a cornered animal. Sophia, why are you answering his phone? Why are you with Ethan this late at night? Sophia's breathing was slightly hitched, leaving no doubt as to what we'd been doing. I was sleeping quite soundly with him. Thank you. What are you doing calling so late? Having a meltdown? Chloe shrieked into the phone. Don't you touch him. I'm warning you. Don't you dare touch him. He's my husband. You stay away from him. Sophia shot back, her patience gone. Anyone can see through your pathetic act. Weren't you saving yourself for Leo, forbidding Ethan from touching you? Why are you crawling back to him now? Oh, right. You realized you need his talent to save your failing company. Chloe, ever defiant, tried to change the subject by attacking Sophia. You're such a slut, Sophia. Are you that desperate for a man? You love seducing other people's husbands, don't you? First Leo, now Ethan. You're a fucking whore. I grabbed the phone. What is wrong with you? We are broken up. If you call again and harass me, I'm calling the cops. There was a moment of silence, then she started to sob, a loud, ugly wail that sounded like a dying animal. It was splitting my eardrums. I hung up and blocked her number. When I turned back to Sophia, she was suddenly quiet, her head bowed. What's wrong? She looked up, her expression surprisingly sad. Do you also think I'm cheap? No, of course not. Ethan, even though Leo pursued me for years, I never said yes. My first time was with you. And that night, I went home with you because I really like you. Please don't think I'm some easy woman just because I came on to you. I pulled her into a hug. So what if you did? That has nothing to do with who you are as a person. How can it not? I could feel the conflict raging inside her. I held her gently. How about we just talk for a while? She looked down. Are you not interested in me anymore? Then she looked up, her eyes wide. I can take something if that's what you want. Would that make you interested? I can. Sophia, trust me, she whispered desperately. I love you so much. A pang of pain shot through my heart. This girl, she's so fragile underneath it all. I held her tighter. Sophia, I know you're not a cheap woman. I know you're worried I'll look down on you. But I won't. My words seemed to hit their mark. Her eyes welled up with tears. You're lying. If I'm lying, may I be struck by lightning and drop dead on the spot. She gasped. Don't say that. Don't. It doesn't count. What you just said doesn't count. I grab her hand. It counts even if the sky falls. I stroke the back of her head. Sophia, matters of the heart are complicated. When you like someone, you want to be with them. You want to do intimate things with them. That's completely normal. Whenever I had tried with Chloe, she would accuse me of being ruled by my lust, berating me until I was filled with self-loathing. I'd spend hours wondering what I did wrong, sinking deeper into a pit of insecurity. If Sophia, who was willing to give me the most precious part of herself, wasn't in love, then what was Chloe? The woman who played the part of a saint in front of me while saving herself for another man? The one who gave her wedding night to someone else? Was that love? Seeing the confusion in Sophia's eyes, I knew Chloe must have gotten into her head. Sophia, don't overthink it, I said softly. In my eyes, you're a woman who loves fiercely, hates fiercely, and has an incredible sense of justice. You were there when I was at my lowest, and you made me realize that someone else out there loved with the same foolish, stubborn devotion that I did. You made me understand that the person who gives and gives can sometimes receive a love that is meant just for them. Sophia finally smiled. You make me sound like such a good girl. You are. She touched my cheek. What am I going to do? I don't think I can ever leave you. I took her hand in mine. Then don't. After the meeting of hearts came the meeting of bodies. On the white sheets, we used the most primal language to express our deepest love for each other. It was a wild night. The next day, I started gathering documents to sue Chloe to get my condo back. I knew she wouldn't give it up without a fight. Then, unexpectedly, she called me. Ethan, let's meet. In a quiet corner of a coffee shop, Chloe and Leo sat across from me. Leo looked terrible. He was gaunt, with dark circles under his eyes, a ghost of the arrogant man he'd been just a few weeks ago. It made sense. The heir apparent who was supposed to take over a thriving team had walked into an empty office on his first day. Now he was trying to compete with Reed Industries with a handful of overpriced new hires and a team of rookies. If I were in his shoes, I'd be having sleepless nights too. Ethan, I asked you here today to discuss something, Chloe began. Go on. There have been some internal issues at Vance Corp. The board members are underestimating Leo's abilities. I was wondering if you could come back to the company as Leo's deputy like before. She took a breath. I'll double your old salary. You were making $3,000 a month. I can give you $6,000 now. How about it? The sheer audacity was breathtaking. For years, I was her under-the-table workhorse. She gave Leo a 7-figure salary while paying me pocket change. Every time Leo screwed up, I took the blame. Every deal I closed overnight became his victory, and she still thought offering me a job back at her side was some grand gesture of charity. You know how insulting that offer is. Why did you even bother asking me here to say it? Chloe gritted her teeth. Ethan, I'm out of options. If Leo can't show some results soon, he'll be forced to step down at the shareholder meeting in 2 months. Chloe, do you remember when I first joined your company? My situation was even worse than his is now. How is it that I could pull through, but your precious golden boy can't handle a little adversity? I turned to Leo. Are you even a man? Making your woman come here and beg for you? What do you be sitting down? A flush of anger crossed Leo's face. Ethan, you're just bitter because Chloe didn't choose you. If you have any guts, you'd win her back fair and square, not try to crush me in business. Have you no shame? His words made me laugh. Ever heard the phrase, all's fair in love and war? Are you a child? Your worldview is ridiculously naive. Seeing the tension escalate, Chloe jumped in. Ethan, I'm sorry for what I did. I know you still care about me. You wouldn't want to see me hurting, right? Just help us this one time. Chloe, isn't it a little late for that? The moment you cheated, you should have felt regret. I gave you a chance, but you didn't take it. The fact that you two are in this mess now, that's my doing. I don't want to see you succeed. I want to see you drowning in regret. I am getting my revenge on you. Haven't you figured that out yet? I was done wasting my breath on them. I stood up to leave. By the way, I said, pausing at the edge of the table, I want you out of the condo by tonight. Otherwise, you can expect to be served. I arrived at the condo right on time that evening. When I walked in, Chloe was sitting alone on the sofa. Leo's gone. I asked, my voice cold. For some reason, Chloe seemed nervous. She was talking to me, but her eyes kept darting to the space behind me. In that instant, I knew something was wrong. I spun around, just as Leo emerged from behind the door, a knife in his hand. He twisted his lips into a sneer. Ethan, he said, pointing the blade at me. Once I castrate you, Sophia will have to choose me. And when she dumps your pathetic ass, you'll have no choice but to go crawling back to Chloe. Huh. I just smiled and shrugged off my jacket, wrapping it around my forearm. Did he really think I was some tragic hero from a novel, ready to be slaughtered? When Leo lunged with a knife, I caught the blade with my jacket-wrapped arm. A swift kick sent him sprawling to the floor. I'd taken self-defense classes years ago, specifically to protect Chloe. The irony was sickening. He glared at me from the ground, snarling at Chloe. Well, help me. The next thing I knew, a baseball bat came crashing down on my shoulder. The pain was sharp, electric. I couldn't believe it. The woman I had loved with all my heart was trying to kill me. There was no time to think. I kicked out at Chloe, sending the bat flying, then landed a right hook that sent her to the ground. I turned back just in time to see Leo scrambling up, knife in hand, coming at me again. Another kick put him down for good. You want to castrate me? You and what army? Once they were both incapacitated, I pulled out my phone and called 911. Sophia found out while I was still at the police station giving my statement. She burst in, still in her pajamas. Ethan, did they hurt you? Are you okay? Are you injured anywhere? I smiled and patted her head. It's me. You don't need to worry. Ethan, a pitiful voice called from behind me. It was Chloe. You still have the nerve to face me. Ethan, get out. I have nothing to say to you. The image of her and Leo attacking me was burned into my mind. If my arm wasn't throbbing, I would have lunged at her. But all I could do was watch her put on her pathetic act. She fell to her knees in front of me, tears streaming down her face on command. Ethan, I didn't mean to hurt you. And Leo, he just lost control for a moment. You know you stole his dream girl. Anyone would snap in that situation. What is it you want? I cut her off. My patience gone. Chloe bit her lip, her eyes pleading. Can you let Leo go? Don't press charges. He's already lost everything. He can't go to prison. So that was it. She was here to beg for Leo. Her words were so absurd, I almost laughed. I painfully lifted my injured arm. And what about me? Do I just deserve this? That's not what I meant, she stammered, still trying to defend him. Leo didn't mean to hurt your arm that badly. He was just... I laughed coldly. Get out. Get out of my sight. The next morning, the first thing I did was call my lawyer to press charges against Leo. But then, a call came from the police department with some startling news. Chloe had confessed. To protect Leo, she told the police she had done it all by herself. She claimed I was the one who had started it, that I had been physically abusive, and she had fought back in self-defense. When she turned herself in, she was covered in bruises, especially on her face. According to her, I had inflicted every single one. Leo was just an innocent friend who got caught in the crossfire. Mr. Sterling and I are just friends, I heard her say on the recording of her statement. But my husband has always been paranoid, thinking we were having an affair. That day, Leo came to my house to drop something off, and my husband saw him and just went crazy. He started beating me half to death. Leo tried to intervene to help me, and he got hit several times, too. Hearing her fabricated story made my blood run cold. I never thought she would go to such lengths for him. At the station, Leo stood there, the picture of innocence. I believe Ms. Vance has already explained everything, right? Officer, you have to believe me. I'm innocent. This man is a violent abuser. He was suspicious of our friendship and deliberately tried to frame me. He pointed a finger at me, spewing the lines they had clearly rehearsed. Chloe stood beside him, nodding along, their performance seamless. They were so convincing that even the officers seemed to be buying it. One of them shot me a look of pure contempt. Leo turned his back to the officer and gave me a smug, triumphant smirk. He thought he had won. He had no idea what I had brought with me. Officers, maybe you should take a look at this, I said calmly, once their performance was over. I pulled out the marriage certificate I had just gotten with Sophia, along with a stack of photos from our trip and screenshots of my final conversations with Chloe. Officer, Ms. Vance and I have been broken up for 2 months. The reason was her infidelity on our wedding night. Ms. Sophia Reed and I are now legally married. As you can see, we are very happy together. So the claim that I was acting out of jealousy is a complete fabrication. Next, I produced the deed to the condo. Furthermore, this is the title to my property. The scene of the incident is my home. On that day, I went there to reclaim what is legally mine, only to be ambushed and violently assaulted. I calmly pulled out a USB drive. On it was a security camera recording. The video showed me walking into my home. Less than 30 seconds later, Leo ambushed me from behind the door with a knife. I defended myself, and in the ensuing struggle, both he and Chloe were knocked to the ground. As you can see, I never initiated any violence. They had a premeditated plan to harm me. My actions were purely in self-defense. The evidence was irrefutable. The chain was complete. Their web of lies disintegrated in an instant. Staring at the monitor, both of their jaws dropped. Chloe's voice trembled. How is that possible? When did you? Are you asking when I installed the camera? I gave a bitter laugh. It's ironic, really. I installed it to record your reaction to a surprise I had planned for our wedding night. I wanted to capture the look on your face. Who would have thought that a camera meant to record a moment of love would end up recording their crime? So much had happened, I'd almost forgotten it was there. It was only this morning that I remembered I had never turned it off. The truth was laid bare. Now, not even the best lawyer from Chloe's family could save Leo. And Chloe, for filing a false report and committing perjury, would face her own legal consequences. I signed my statement and turned to leave. Chloe ran after me, screaming, "Ethan, you swore you loved me, and now you do this to me. I was a fool to ever say yes to you. You'll never be half the man Leo is." Her words stopped me in my tracks. I turned back and looked at her, genuinely asking, I never understood. What is it you see in him? He saved my life. Without him, I'd be dead. He saved me, and I owe him everything, she answered without a moment's hesitation. I just shook my head. Life has a high tolerance for error. But when you become obsessed with something, when you hold onto a single idea so tightly, it becomes a knife. I love Chloe, that was true, and she felt she owed Leo a debt of gratitude. That was also true. But why did she have to repay her debt by destroying me? A month later, my arm had fully healed. Sophia came to pick me up from the hospital. Before we went inside our new home, she playfully insisted I wear a blindfold, promising a surprise. When she took it off, my breath caught in my throat. In the center of the living room was a beautiful, elegant grand piano. Back in college, Leo and I were the two best pianists in the conservatory program. Just as Sophia and Chloe battled for supremacy in dance, Leo and I battled on the keyboard. One year, I beat him in a major competition, taking first place. In a fit of rage, Chloe had smashed my piano to pieces and forbid me from ever playing again. "Would you play something for me?" Sophia asked, a blush coloring her cheeks, making her even more beautiful. How could I refuse? With pleasure. Soon, a beautiful melody filled the room, and as I played, Sophia began to dance. She and Chloe were both dancers, but in 5 years, Chloe had never once danced for me. Only for Leo, in private, would she move with such grace. Sophia was a master of her craft, seamlessly transitioning from the delicate lines of classical ballet to the fiery passion of modern dance. As the music swelled, she moved with it, a living embodiment of the notes, each turn and leap breathtaking. She was a goddess, a painting come to life. When the last note faded, she leaned against me, her head resting on my shoulder. "I feel so happy right now," she sighed. "Me too," I whispered, my hand tightening on her waist, pulling her closer until there was no space left between us. The mood was electric. "Kiss me," she breathed, tilting her head up, her eyes like deep pools of water, full of a temptation I couldn't resist. I didn't say a word. I just lowered my head and met her lips. We held each other tightly, our breathing growing ragged, our bodies heating up. Finally, we tumbled onto the bed together. "Sophia, I love you," I whispered, my voice rough against her ear. Just as we were lost in the moment, the doorbell rang. "Who could that be?" I grumbled, pulling away. Sophia looked just as frustrated. "Didn't you say Chloe moved out?" "She did. It's in a while. All her stuff is gone." "Then what is she doing here?" I sighed. "I don't know. Let's get dressed and see what's going on. We can deal with her and then I can make it up to you." She shot me a greedy look from under her eyelashes. "You said it." "Nope, backing out." "I won't," she purred, throwing me a playful glare as she got dressed. When we opened the door, Chloe was standing there, her face a storm of fury. "Ethan, that piece you were just playing, where did you learn it?" The piece was called the Venus Sonata, taught to me by my first piano teacher. It was an obscure composition. Very few people knew it. I frowned. "What do you mean?" Her voice trembled. "A few years ago, someone sabotaged me. I broke my leg. I thought I'd never dance again. I got so depressed I tried to kill myself. I would sit in the dance studio and cry, and there was this boy. He would play the piano for me, talk to me, encourage me not to give up. And that was the song he played. In college, I was obsessed with the piano. I used to sneak into the practice rooms late at night. That's when I noticed a girl who would lock herself in the dance studio, crying for hours. I started playing for her, hoping the music would help. I never thought. By now, even an idiot could put the pieces together. I raised an eyebrow. So that mess of a girl cried her eyes out and wanted to die. That was you? What a shame. You know, I said with a cheerful smile, if I'd known it was you, I would have just let you die that day. Just then, Sophia walked over, holding her phone. Take a look at this. You might find it useful. She pressed play, and Leo's voice filled the air. Sophia, believe me, I have nothing to do with her. She's the one who won't leave me alone. She thinks I saved her, but it was all a misunderstanding. Back when you two were competing for the lead role, I was the one who pushed her down the stairs. I did it so you would get the part. Afterward, when she recovered, she started treating me like some kind of hero, insisting she had to repay me. It was from a while back, when Leo was still trying to win Sophia over, calling for different numbers. I had no idea her phone automatically recorded calls. Chloe looked as if she'd been struck by lightning. Her whole body began to tremble, her eyes losing focus. How could that be? The one who played for me. How could it be Ethan? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Sophia looked at the shell-shocked Chloe. You just heard Ethan play the song. Have you ever once heard your precious Leo play it? Ethan is a brilliant pianist. He could have had a career. But because of you, he gave it all up. You had such a wonderful husband, and you were too blind to see it. Sophia's words were like daggers, each one piercing Chloe's heart. My own heart was a wasteland of grief, but I couldn't help but be moved. What a tangled, stupid mess. Chloe fell in love with Leo because he took credit for my kindness. And because of him, she hurt me. In this story of 3 people, I was the only real victim. Was I bitter? I asked myself. I saved her. I wasted 5 years of my life for her, gave up my dreams for her. And in return, she destroyed our marriage. How can I not be bitter? If I could go back to that afternoon, I would have walked right past that dance studio. Chloe's eyes were red, her emotions spiraling. She screamed at me, asking if I was lying. She refused to believe that the past 5 years of her life were built on Leo's deception. You're lying to me, Ethan. You're shameless. None of this is real. Whether it's real or not, you can find out for yourself, can't you, Ms. CEO? With your resources, it shouldn't be hard to investigate. Chloe's fist clenched and unclenched. Without another word, she turned and walked away like a ghost. Leo was arrested for aggravated assault. During his interrogation, he asked to see me. I was curious to hear what he had to say. He looked haggard, a far cry from the handsome, confident man he used to be. Ethan, you must be wondering why I wanted to kill you, he spat, his eyes filled with a raw hatred. Because you deserve to die. Then he let out a dry, crackling laugh. You really are a pathetic fool, Ethan. Let me tell you everything. The day after she started dancing again, I pretended to be you. We looked so much alike back then. She never suspected a thing. I knew you liked her, so I decided I would steal her, ruin her, and by doing so, ruin you. You're a psychopath. A psychopath. You're the one who made me this way. It was always you. In everything. Piano grades. I could never beat you. His eyes were filled with scorn. I even told Chloe that you were bullying me, that you sabotaged me, so I would lose the piano competition. That's why she smashed your piano. He grinned. She was so naive back then. Believed every word I said. From that day on, she hated you as much as I did. Hearing her curse your name with me, it was the greatest feeling in the world. Do you know how much she loved me? Even after I moved abroad, she was still obsessed, sending people to look after me. You think she married you because she loved you? If you weren't so useful to her business, she wouldn't have given you the time of day. Ha, ha, ha. You were her shield, her workhorse while she was in my bed, doing whatever I wanted. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. You want to know the funniest part? She wasn't a virgin on your wedding night. I'd already had her many times. I just told her it would be a thrill to do it in your suite, right under your nose. So she lied to you, and her telling you to get chemically castrated? Ha ha ha. That was my idea. I was the one who told her not to let you touch her after you got married. Don't you see how pitiful you are? You worshipped her for years, and for what? She'd rather be my dog than give you a single kind glance. Leo laughed, a triumphant, manic sound. But his laughter died on his lips. He had been expecting a reaction, expecting to see anger, pain, anything, but my face was a blank canvas. His one-man show, which had started with such arrogant contempt, was now fizzling out into confused powerlessness. Ethan, Why did you even come here today? To listen to your story, I said calmly. And to tell you a few things of my own. You chased Sophia for years, right? You never even held her hand. But her first time? That was with me. On the same night you and Chloe were in my honeymoon suite. And that night, you called to warn me away from her? Do you know what she did? She spent the rest of the night proving to me, over and over again, just who she belonged to. I'll let the words sink in. You call me pitiful, but the goddess you could never have chose me over you. She curses your name with me. If you hadn't pulled your stunt that night, I might have foolishly stayed with Chloe. So thank you. You showed me who she really was. I watched his composure crumble, his confidence replaced by a dawning horror. Even a monster has a heart you can stab. I had heard enough. I stood to leave, but he called out, his voice desperate. Ethan, let's make a deal. His deal was simple. If I dropped the charges, he would let me have Chloe. He would disappear from her life. I stared at him, speechless. I suddenly realized that he and Chloe were two sides of the same coin, utterly, pathologically self-absorbed. What makes you think I still love her? You two are the ones who deserve each other. You made your bed. Now you get to lie in it. And don't worry, I said, leaning in close. I'm not letting either of you off the hook. For the first time, I saw genuine fear in Leo Sterling's eyes. As I walked out of the prison, a familiar voice called my name. Ethan, why are you doing this? Why won't you see me? I know you still love me. We have a history. Please, don't leave me. It was Chloe. A month had passed, and she looked like a wreck. The polished veneer was gone, replaced by a desperate haggardness. She ran toward me, her eyes filled with tears of regret and self-pity. The old me would have felt a pang of sympathy. The me standing there now felt nothing. Ms. Vance, I thought your one true love was Leo Sterling. When did that change to my Ethan? Oh, don't tell me. You found out the truth, and now you can't bear to lose your real meal ticket. Can you? My. You change your true love quite easily. Sophia, of course. Wherever there was an opportunity to publicly humiliate Chloe, Sophia would. Month had passed, and she looked like a wreck. The polished veneer was gone, replaced by a desperate haggardness. She ran toward me, her eyes filled with tears of regret and self-pity. The old me would have felt a pang of sympathy. The me standing there now felt nothing. Ms. Vance, I thought your one true love was Leo Sterling. When did that change to my Ethan? Oh, don't tell me. You found out the truth, and now you can't bear to lose your real meal ticket. Can you? My. You change your true love quite easily. Sophia, of course. Wherever there was an opportunity to publicly humiliate Chloe, Sophia would be there. I hadn't even noticed her, or the swarm of reporters she had brought with her. Just collecting a little interest, honey. You don't mind, do you? She whispered in my ear. I just smiled. Seeing us whispering intimately, Chloe's face hardened. Sophia, you're shameless. Spreading lies about me and trying to seduce my husband. My goodness, Chloe. Are you delusional? Which one of your eyes saw me seducing Ethan? And spreading lies? I suppose the police reports were just fake news, then? Don't think that just because your family paid a fortune to bail you out, you're suddenly innocent. We all have eyes, Chloe. Unlike you, who spent years staring at a diamond and thinking it was a worthless rock. You're an idiot. You. Chloe sputtered, shaking with rage, but she quickly composed herself. She turned her gaze back to me, her expression turning soft and pleading. I recognized that look. It was the same one she used 5 years ago when she first reeled me in. Did she really think I would fall for it again? Ethan, I know the truth now. Can't we start over? You loved me for so many years. You can't just stop loving me, right? Let's go home, please. Home? I scoffed. Did we ever have a home, Chloe? You never loved me. 4 or 5 years. The one you were with was Leo. I was just a pawn in your game. Let go. The moment you chose to help him, our home ceased to exist. Tears streamed down her face as she grabbed my arm. Ethan, are you really throwing me away? Can you honestly say you don't love me anymore? Chloe, do you remember what Leo said on our wedding night? He said you never loved me, that you only married me because I looked like him. Well, my answer is the same. I pried her fingers from my arm, one by one. The person I loved was a girl from 5 years ago. You just happen to look like her. I turned to leave, but she grabbed me again, her voice a desperate whisper. No, please, Ethan. Please, just give me one more chance. The last time I saw her beg like this, it was for Leo. Huh. I sneered, stepping toward her, backing her against the wall. Beg me? Well, I begged you not to leave me for Leo. Did you listen? When I begged you not to smash my piano, did you listen? When I begged you not to sleep with him on our wedding night, did you listen? Chloe, I begged you so many times. Did you ever, even once, say yes? My voice rose with each question until she was trapped, nowhere to run. Since we'll never see each other again, let's get everything out in the open. When you were 20, you wanted a cake from a bakery 20 miles away, a place with no delivery, no public transport. I took a bus, then walked for miles down a dirt road in the pouring rain to get it for you. I protected that cake with my own body. When you were eating it, you never noticed I was burning up with a fever, did you? When you were 22, your company was just getting back on its feet, and a rival hacked your system. I stayed up for 3 days straight fixing it. The moment the crisis was averted, you went out drinking with Leo to celebrate. I collapsed from a bleeding ulcer and ended up in the hospital. When you were 25, it was our wedding night. I pleaded with you not to be with him. That was the moment my heart broke for the last time. That was when I swore I would never be weak for you again. I paused, letting the words hang in the air. Don't you think? You're dirty. She stood there, mortified, stammering. Ethan, I had the surgery. The hymenoplasty. Can't you just give me another chance? I laughed, a harsh, grating sound. Do you really think this was ever about your hymen? Her eyes were wide with confusion. Then what was it about? That's why you broke up with me, isn't it? I sighed, looking at her with something akin to pity. It was never about a piece of tissue. I wouldn't have cared if you weren't a virgin before we met. What I cared about was the love, the commitment that first time was supposed to represent. You told me you were saving it for me, for our wedding night. But your tradition, your values, it was all for him. Something I worked so hard for. You gave away so carelessly. I leaned in closer. And you think refurbishing secondhand goods makes them new again? No matter how many times you get stitched up, you can't change what you are. And I, Ethan Cole, have no interest in used goods. Her eyes widened in horror. Her shame was palpable. I didn't want to see it anymore. I took Sophia's hand and walked away. This time, she didn't follow. I changed my mind about Leo. I dropped the charges and signed a settlement. After all, he had already embezzled a small fortune from Vance Corp to pay off gambling debts. Now that Chloe knew the truth, she was hunting him down, vowing to castrate him herself. The day he was released, I paid for him to be smuggled out of the country. He thought he was headed for freedom, but when he got off the boat, he found himself in Southeast Asia. There was a local crime lord there, looking to go legitimate. He wanted to partner with Reed Industries, and Leo was my introductory gift. In the video they sent me, Leo was screaming, "I'm a tourist. What do you want from me?" He tried to fight, but the crime lord's men beat him bloody. Since Leo was so obsessed with castrating me, I had the boss grant his wish. Then they broke his arms and legs and sold him to a group of men with particular tastes. When he was barely clinging to life, they followed my final instructions, turning him into a human torso and put him on display in a jar for paying customers. On our own wedding night, Sophia was curled up in my arms when a memory suddenly clicked into place. I sat up, my heart pounding with a mixture of shock and excitement. You were the girl I saved from the river all those years ago. Sophia smiled and nodded, squeezing my hand. You finally remember. 10 years ago, I was walking by the river when I saw a girl about to jump. She just failed her college entrance exams. I talked her down, gave her a long lecture about not giving up. She cried and promised she would live her life to the fullest, that one day she would make me proud. I never imagined that young girl would become the successful, brilliant Sophia Reed. I leaned in close to her ear, my voice a low murmur. I also heard a secret from your mother today, Sophia. Want to hear it? What secret? I heard that someone was planning to confess her feelings to me, but then found out I was getting married and spent the next week drinking herself into a stupor at a bar. Sophia leaned in until our noses were almost touching. You're wrong. It was longer than a week. She was no longer smiling. Her fingers deftly unbuttoned my shirt. In the dim moonlight, I could see the fire burning in her eyes. The whole time you were engaged, she whispered, I practically lived at that bar. Chloe's company went bankrupt. Leo had taken out a $10 million loan in the company's name. With the business gone, the creditors came after Chloe. She had to sell her mansion just to cover the debt. After his release, but before his trip, Leo leaked the video from their night in my honeymoon suite to a notorious website. The title was explosive. Bride begs ex to take her virginity on wedding night. The video was completely uncensored. It went viral with millions of views. Friends and strangers alike downloaded it, passed it around. Men started adding her on social media, sending her the video and asking for her rates. Some asked if she'd get another hymenoplasty so they could have the first-time experience, offering to pay double. Unable to take the harassment, Chloe tried to call me, only to find she was blocked. Her reputation was ruined. No one would help her. Listening to my assistant's report, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Also, my assistant continued. You have an appointment this afternoon to accompany Mrs. Cole to her OB/GYN appointment. As we arrived at the hospital, a figure rushed toward us. I instinctively stepped in front of Sophia. It was Chloe, looking wild and disheveled. She stank of cheap booze. Before I could react, She dropped her knees in front of me. Ethan, I can't live without you. Please come back. I slapped her. The sound echoed in the quiet parking garage. I couldn't stand the sight of her. Get lost. The same words, the same tone she had once used on me. I was giving them back. She struggled to her feet and turned her desperate eyes to Sophia. Sophia, I know now that Ethan was the best thing that ever happened to me. We built that company together. Please just give it back to me. I grabbed Sophia's hand and started to walk away, worried the stress would affect the baby. But Sophia stopped. Chloe, I should thank you, she said, her voice calm but firm. Thank you for throwing away such a wonderful man. It's because you pushed him away that he came to me. She took a card from her wallet. There's $50,000 on this. Start a small business. Get your life together. Stop making a mess. Inside the clinic, I asked Sophia why she'd given Chloe money. She's a pitiful woman, Sophia sighed. Scammed by a con man, company bankrupt, left with nothing. We were classmates, after all. She shook her head. One bad man can ruin your whole life. Then she pointed a finger at me, her eyes glinting mischievously as she glanced down. If you ever betray me, well, I felt a sudden chill and quickly pledged my undying loyalty. Sophia gently touched her stomach. Did you see? Chloe's pregnant, too. She looks like she's about to break. If I didn't help her, it might have been 2 lives lost. I was so angry I didn't even notice, I admitted with a sigh. From the window in the waiting room, I saw Chloe below, dragging herself down the street. Memories flickered through my mind. Ethan, you're always there for me. Whenever I need something, you're the first one to show up. I think I'm starting to depend on you. I'll always be here. That was a promise I made, a promise she threw away. Down on the street, Chloe suddenly stopped and looked up, right in my direction. She stood there for a long moment, then turned and kept walking. What? Does your heart ache for her? Ouch. Let go. Sophia had snuck up behind me and was twisting my ear. How's our baby? I asked, changing the subject. Sophia beamed, holding up the ultrasound photo. Look, the baby's right here. Where? I can't see anything.